organ. It's wonderful. All right, click this on. All right, this is not working. The battery must be dead or something in this. It's not working. So, Angie, I'll just have to tell you when to turn the slides. All right, so we've been on a series about encountering God, and there's all different ways of encountering God. I've shared some spectacular ways in the Old Testament that people have encountered God. And then last week we talked about how you can encounter God through miraculous healings. That's another form. And today I want to talk about encountering God through prophetic words. Now, a lot of people won't get into this, and pastors won't teach on it because they've had bad experiences with this kind of ministry. I'll give you an example. I had a friend named John. He used to live in Nevada, and he told me about an occasion where he went to a Christian conference, and there was a person there that had a prophetic gift, and came over to him during the conference and looked at him, and he said, you two you've been married a long time, you have a great happy marriage, and God says he's going to continue to use you as partners in the ministry. And John replied, my wife isn't at this conference, and I just met this woman a few minutes ago. Totally got it wrong, right? Totally got it wrong. I could go on and on. There's many other friends who have told me about similar types of disappointing experiences. I also have had disappointing experiences with the prophetic ministry. When I lived in Boulder City, there was Las Vegas was near us, and there was different conferences that you could go to that the larger churches would put on, and there was a particular conference I really liked to go to each year. And many, many times I was very blessed. But there was an occasion in which I got a prophetic word, and I didn't know this person, he didn't know me, but I made the mistake of saying that I was a pastor in Boulder City. And I think that got into this person's mind, and the person, gave me a prophetic word that revival would break out at my church. Well, I was there 19 and a half years, and revival never broke out at my church. And I was waiting, and maybe if I'd stayed one more year. No, but I just really had been disappointed with some prophetic words. And I think when that happens to a person, they turn off to all of it. And they think, oh no, this can't be real, it's not really of God. And they just throw out the baby with the bathwater. They chuck it all. And I want to show you in Scripture how prophetic words are all the way through the Bible. And I want to teach on this. This is a subject I've been interested in for many years, and I have been really blessed with different occasions in my life when I've received a prophetic word that was right on. And so I want to start with Genesis, and this is chapter 15. It's about Abram or Abraham, and it's talking about he has not had any children at this point, and he thinks that his inheritance is going to go to his head servant. And so his head servant, he thinks, is going to inherit everything he has. But God tells him this. This is what the passage says. Then the word of the Lord came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. Abram believed the Lord, and it was credited to him as righteousness. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So I want to encourage you that all through the Scripture, including this passage, there are words from the Lord, prophetic words, that are very powerful. For Abram or Abraham, this was a key time in his life. God gives him this promise. He's all discouraged, down. I haven't had any kids. This servant is going to inherit everything I own. And God says, no, there's a promise, there's a prophecy. In your life, there's going to be a son will be born, and he will inherit all of this. And I'm going to make him a great nation. I'm going to be with you. There's great promises. And God used the stars as a symbolic picture of how many descendants he will have. So that is an example of how a word from the Lord can be very uplifting, encouraging. It can set you on a new direction. It can draw you closer to God. Words from God can have a very powerful effect. And if you look in the book of Romans, Paul even refers back to this particular time as Abraham believed God and it was reckoned to him as righteousness. This was like a key time in Abraham's experience with God, like a salvation experience for Abram. So this was a key word spoken. And key words like this can really have an impact on you. They can even lead to healings. I'm going to give you an example from my mother's life. My mother, devout Christian all her life, there was a period of time in which she got canker sores. Those are sores inside your mouth, and they can be very painful. And she got all these canker sores, a whole bunch of them, and for about 2 months, she was struggling with these canker sores, and they were very painful. No matter what she tried, gargling with salt water and doing this and doing that, they wouldn't go away, all these sores. And one night she was praying to God, and she was just about in tears. God,